Hello, everyone. Today I'll just be discussing briefly how the cardiovascular system actually works. So I'll be discussing its functions, its components, and the different circulations. So a human cardiovascular system consists of the heart, blood vessels, and blood. Its primary function is to transport nutrients and oxygen-rich blood to all parts of the body and to carry the oxygenated blood back to the lungs. Cardiovascular system is the system responsible for delivering blood to different parts of the body, right? So it consists of the following organs and tissues. First is the heart. The heart is a muscular pump that forces blood around the body. The heart consists of four distinct chambers, which are the two atria and two ventricles. The two upper chambers, called atria, are the receiving chambers. They receive blood from the body circulation and assist with the filling of the ventricles. And the two lower chambers are called ventricles. They are the discharging chambers. They pump and contract to propel blood out of the heart and into the body circulation. So now I'll be briefly explaining to you how blood flows through the heart. First, from the upper body, the right atrium takes in blood carrying carbon dioxide. Then, the blood is squeezed down into the right ventricle and taken to the lungs, where carbon dioxide is replaced by oxygen. And then, the oxygen carrying blood from the lungs enters the left atrium. And lastly, the blood is pumped into the right ventricle and starts its journey again throughout the body. So, let's proceed. The next, the cardiac also consists of blood vessels. They are the tubes or channels that carry blood throughout our body. There are three types of blood vessels, which are first the arteries. They are the vessels that carry blood away from the heart. Then veins are the vessels that bring blood back to the heart. And lastly, the capillaries are the tiny vessels that branch off from arteries to deliver blood to all body tissues. So just think of it as a connecting vessels. So C for connecting, capillaries for connecting vessels, veins for bringing the blood back to the heart, and arteries carrying blood away from the heart. So now to the different circulations. First, we have pulmonary circulation. The pulmonary circulation functions to carry blood to the lungs for gas exchange, where it is where the oxygen enters the blood and carbon dioxide enters the lungs, and then return it to the heart. And the next one, we have the systemic circulation. It is the circuit where in the left ventricle propel blood through the body tissues and back to the right atrium. Heart and lungs are where oxygen enters the blood and carbon dioxide leaves the body. It supplies oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to all the body organs. Pulmonary system. How does the pulmonary system works? So first, the right atrium receives oxygen poor blood from the veins of the body, and then the right ventricle pumps this blood out through the pulmonary trunk. Then the pulmonary trunk splits into the right and left pulmonary arteries to carry the blood back to the lungs. And then the carbon dioxide is unloaded into the alveoli and oxygen is picked up. Lastly, the oxygen-rich blood drains from the lungs and is returned to the left atrium of the heart through the four pulmonary veins. And last, systemic system. So the oxygen-rich blood is returned to the left atrium and then it flows into the ventricle and is pumped out into the aorta. The systemic arteries branch to supply oxygen to essentially all body tissues. And after that, the oxygen is delivered to tissues, and then the oxygen poor blood circulates from the tissues back via the systemic veins. And then the systemic veins empty the blood into either the superior or the inferior vena cava. And lastly, the superior and the inferior vena cava drains blood into the right atrium. And so all for today, everyone. I hope you all learned something from my presentation. See you on the next one. Thank you for listening.